Hi guys, so today I'm going to talk about quality versus quantity in relation to your nutrition or food. And it's a question I get asked all the time. Which one should I focus on the most? Is it the quality of the food I'm consuming, or is it the quantity of the calories that I'm consuming? And to be honest, the answer is both, but it really is contextual, based on what your number one goal is. But just keep the big overview that we want to try and control for both and have the best of both worlds. So looking at the quality side of things, why do we want quality food? Well, the better quality food that you purchase, the greater nutrient density of that food. And why do we want greater amounts of nutrient density? Well, we want greater nutrient density in the context of vitamins, minerals, and macronutrients like proteins, fats, and carbohydrates because it promotes health. And the greater degree of good quality nutrients we have tends to correlate with the greater degree of health that we have as an individual. The other things to consider are the greater quality of nutrients we take on board, the greater interactions it has with our genes, and I won't go into too much depth on that, but our genes are set, but how we kind of like upregulate and downregulate them is orchestrated in part by the food that we consume. So the greater, as I say, the greater food we have, guess what? The better expression of the genes we have. We also want to consider sort of processed food, and if we are just concerned about sort of the quantity of calories, and we don't consider the quality, then we're probably going to be considering some pretty naughty stuff, which can have a pretty negative effect on our health. And that isn't just our physical health, we're talking about our mental health here. So mental health is a big thing, and it should be a big thing. We all have mental health to consider, and food plays a big role in that. Lastly, or not quite lastly actually, is our basal metabolic rate, in terms of what our metabolism's like in the context of burning fat and attaining good muscle mass. The greater amounts of nutrients we have means the body works more efficiently, and if the body works more efficiently, guess what? We burn more calories. So consider the best quality food you can possibly buy. On the flip side, why do we consider quantity? Well, it's all well and good consuming really good quality food, but if you overconsume it, guess what? You're going to be overweight. So we'll just look at the food side of things. We'll not look at the output now, but making sure that you're consuming the right amount of quantity in terms of calories is super important, and it's super simple. You just track your calories to some degree, either using an app or just writing it down, and then just checking your weight. Do that for 7 to 14 days. If your weight stays the same, then the chances are you're consuming the right amount of food to maintain the weight you are. If you want to lose weight, guess what? You have to consume a little less calories. Not necessarily food though, but we'll come on to that in a separate video. Macronutrients play a role, so your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fats. Generally, the more protein you consume, the more full you'll be, and then second to that, the more vegetable matter you consume, the more full you'll be. So you can eat quite a bit of food without consuming a huge amount of calories if you have a relatively high and protein and fiber / vegetable diet. Lastly, you want to consider, why you want to think about, the amount of quantity of calories you're consuming is it makes you overweight. And if you're overweight, you're inflamed, you don't feel particularly great, and you probably don't look the way you probably want to look. So just being aware is the first stage of it, and then whilst you're aware of how much you're actually consuming, then you can start to set a plan of how to either reduce the amount you're consuming or at least reduce the amount of calories you're consuming. So the overall premise of what I'm trying to get across, guys, is quality and quantity both matter. If you are overweight, then probably quantity is the biggest hurdle for you, but you can achieve that by increasing the quantity. And an example would that be is just replacing processed food, with some good quality foods in the form of some good quality proteins and lots of vegetable matter. And then from there, it's just a case of, I'll just cut that out.